Hey YouTube, today we're going to talk about the last group of brakes for the better than stock brakes for a Gbody. And this is the extreme, most expensive, all out, you want to stop on a dime before the next person. Okay guys, so the first setup, C5, C6 setup, which does bring you to a 13 or 14 inch rotor. The only thing I didn't like about their kits was they didn't have a emergency brake bracket be part of their kit. They only had it whereas no provisions for emergency brake cables. So for a manual car that likes to park on a hill or stuff, that ain't gonna happen because of the no parking brake. So that's the only downfall to those two kits. Now the other option for rear disc that I found for a Gbody would be the Willwoods or Bear brakes, and those are the most expensive setups out there versus the Core One or Core something and Flyby, or even the eBay brackets that were more OEM other than the bracket kit. Now let's talk about the front, which the front, you got three different options. You have the hybrid, which is the C5, C6 base caliper on a 14-inch rotor with a special bracket, which you can get off eBay. And that gives you the best bang for the buck if you already have a C5, C6 caliper. And you say you had 13-inch rotors from the get-go, and now you're going up to a 14-inch. That's going to be your bare minimum option. You got your second option, which is going to be the C6 Z06, which is a huge, massive rotor with a 6-piston caliper. And then you got your third option, which is the biggest, which is going to be like the Brembo style Camaro SS setup. Now a lot of these three setups that I'm talking about only work for the 98 to 02 S10 Blazer spindles. Now there are a couple companies that make kits to do all these same brakes for the Gbody spindle. If you've already gone this far to do brake upgrades, Gbody spindles should be a thing of the past. You should modernize your brakes and suspension setup and just make an ease of install for your hubs and all that. Like my other two videos where I show the S10 Blazer spindles. So just upgrade the S10 Blazer spindles and make your life a whole lot easier when you do these brake setups. And then the last, that's going to be the biggest ones you can get for OEM style parts. So like you can go to the dealership from GM, Chevy, or you can go to your parts stores, your local parts stores like Summit or Jegs or your O'Reilly's and Napa. The next would be the most expensive option out of this would be the Willwoods or the Bear brakes. Now those brakes are super expensive, custom to the T, and require a lot more money involved because they're custom. I like the OEM stuff, so if I drive my cars, they break down on the side of the road, I'm near a parts store, I can just most of the time get the parts I need to limp my car home instead of having it towed. I'm not a fan of the Willwoods or the Bear brakes. If it was a show car or money was no object kind of thing, then that's one thing, but for me, I like OEM, and so I lean heavier towards the Corvette, the C6, the Camaro, or some people are going to lean heavier towards the Willwoods or Bears. So it just depends on what option you're going with. These all options are expensive, but if you go with the OEM stuff, then you can kind of price it better. So like the last video, I said you needed a minimum the Cadillac Eldorado master cylinder. Now this does work, or you can go aftermarket. You can go with a Caprice style, S10 Blazer style, or you can go with the one I have, which is the Eldorado. And so you do need that because that is the rear disc master cylinder versus your stock Gbody one. Because all these big brakes are 14-inch rotors or bigger, you do need to have a 18 minimum wheel. So you can't run anything smaller than an 18. A lot of times, a lot of these brakes are going to require 20s. 18s is like the bare minimum. Usually 20s are the preferred. I mean, especially for the guys that have lifted or big wheel setups anyway, you need big brakes to stop and slow that car down anyway. So big brakes with a big wheel is perfect. So just something to think about. If this video did bring you value, helps you out to get to your extreme brake setup to make your car brake on a dime or a penny or whatever coin you want to stop on, I hope this brought you some value so it can help you get to that point. If it did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.